Today on Upfront, the state's public schools chief issues a warning. Superintendent Tony Evers on his fears that public schools will soon face what he calls more divisive mandates. Then the pipeline you haven't heard about, bigger than Keystone XL and running right through Wisconsin, the crucial vote it faces. And Governor Walker rejects the Kenosha Casino. Did his presidential aspirations play a role in his decision?
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. It sounded just a bit ominous. State School Superintendent Tony Evers messaged to Wisconsin educators at their annual convention last week. Evers said, and we're quoting now, "Backroom discussions lead me to believe that more divisive mandates, along with constrained revenue, are on the way for public schools." Evers said the legislature needs to hit the pause button. But our new controversial school accountability bill is just the first in a series of proposals that would dramatically change education in Wisconsin. Superintendent Tony Evers joins us now on Up Front. Welcome back to the program.
Hey, Mike. Glad to be here.
Well, let's talk about what you meant by those comments, which I said sounded a bit ominous. What did you mean?
Well, there is a dark cloud over my head, it seems like most of the time. But, yeah, for example, you mentioned the accountability bill. That is absolutely the discussion around that type of thing and where that could be headed. Not only am I concerned about the constitution of my office and all that kind of stuff, but really it's sending more messages that, you know, we want to punish, we want to call out bad schools, we're going to sanction. And I'll tell you, that's just not the way to get people rallying around their public schools. And there's several other bills out there that, you know, around teacher licensing they've been talking about. And the bottom line is we have teachers across the state working really hard every single day to help kids meet their potential. And they usually don't spend their time listening to what happens in Madison, except occasionally, because they're busy teaching kids. And, you know, they'll catch a snippet. Okay, we're going to sanction now. Hear another snippet. Oh, we're going to make it so easy to become a teacher. Have higher expectations for kids, lower expectations for teachers. All that messaging it puts us in just a difficult thing. We have to talk about teachers, respect for them, lift up the profession instead of continuing to kind of divide and conquer. And we need to hit the pause button. We have all these initiatives. We have to have time to implement them in a good way.
Let me drill down on a couple of those points you just mentioned. School accountability. You've got two different bills. You've got Assembly Republicans who want sanctions. Right. You've got Senate Republicans who are saying, no, we want letter grades, but not sanctions. Yeah. You're on board with the Senate proposal to some extent?
To some extent. I don't think we're totally on board. It helps. Their proposal kind of helps the issue of the Constitution being violated with taking my powers and handing it off to some other body. But, you know, to some extent, I'm with the governor on this one. He's saying, give us a system that has clarity around outcomes, and we already have that. Everybody's taking the same test. And let it up to local people to figure out what they need to do with their schools. I think we have that piece in place already. So I'm more supportive of the Senate proposal than the Assembly proposal, but to be honest with you, I think simplicity is a good idea, and I think the governor and I kind of see eye to eye on this.
Briefly, the argument Assembly Republicans make, which you well know, is that if schools keep failing year after year after year, there should be consequences. If you don't have serious consequences, nothing changes. What's your response to that?
Yeah, here we go. Let's hammer them. You know, that's all.
Well, let's help them, but then hold out the hammer as a possibility.
But what are we going to do with our public schools? Are we going to say, Lake Mills Elementary School, we were having trouble making you into a better school, therefore we're going to close you, or therefore we're going to turn you into a charter school? Then those kids have no choice. I mean, it's actually taking away choice for a good part of the state. I think the holding people accountable is more about transparency than it is trying to figure out what we're going to do to help, or even more importantly, making sure that they don't harm schools.
You mentioned this proposal the governor said would be included in his budget. It's an education proposal that says people with real-life experience with some training could be teachers.
Yeah.
You're not big on that.
Well,
Why not?
I'm okay with, I think flexibility is good, and we do have some alternative structures in place. But where we diverge completely is the notion that somehow all you need is the content, and we also need to know how to teach.
Bachelor's degree and real-life experience, not
Yeah.
enough in your mind?
No, teaching is an extraordinarily complex skill, and you need to learn about the abilities of students. You have to be able to differentiate instruction. It's not like you're just walking in the classroom and opening up your brain and spilling out content. You have to know how to teach. You have to know how to establish relationships. All that stuff's important. It seems irrational to me to say, you know, we have higher standards for our kids. We have more expectations for them. But teachers, we really, we don't expect you to be good teachers. You just have to know stuff. That's not the way it goes. We need the highest quality teachers. I mean, we already have pieces in place now where we do measure content experience, using experience to learn content. But we're also very careful that we know that they know how to teach and that they can prove that they know how to teach. We don't need 424 different standards of that across the state of Wisconsin. So yes, I'm absolutely opposed to it.
What do you expect is going to happen to a couple of these other issues? Vouchers. We would imagine, I would guess that the governor is going to propose an increase in the number of students who can attend voucher schools. Is that what you expect? And can you shed any light on what is likely to be continued?
Yeah, my crystal ball is not necessarily everybody else's crystal ball.
And you're not involved in those discussions. He doesn't talk to you about what you think about this.
No, he hasn't asked me that particular question. But he's been very transparent on his goal to expand vouchers. I just think it's going to be a little more complex this time because it's clear that the signals we're getting, backroom signals, is that there's not going to be much increase, if any, for public schools. And it's seemingly...
If any.
If any. And it seems, again, irrational to me to say, you know, public schools, you're going to have to make do. But let's expand the voucher program over here where history has shown us that 70 to 80% of those kids are already in private schools. And so it is a direct, you know, it's narrowing the pot of money that's available for public schools. I'm not slamming voucher schools. I'm just saying here's the reality of it. We have 860,000 kids in our program in typical public schools. And there could be very little money, if at all, increase over here. I don't see the politics of that very good, but I'm sure there will be a push to expand vouchers.
I've got just a few seconds left. Common Core, what do you expect to happen?
I expect that school districts of the state will continue to implement it the way they have for the last 4 years, and it's working well. There's nothing to repeal. I mean, school districts have made that decision. They're moving forward. It's working well. I couldn't be more pleased.
Tony Evers is the Superintendent of Public Instruction for the state of Wisconsin. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
it.
Appreciate it.
Coming up later on Up Front, the potential politics behind the Kenosha Casino. But first, pipelines making headlines. We'll tell you about the pipeline you don't know about. It runs right through our state with a plan to make it pump more.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association.